So what does it actually take to build a university from the ground up in the 21st century? Today, we're going to break down the blueprint for GM University, a brand new university with a really bold idea about how education should work.
And just look at this place. I mean, the scale of the campus is impressive on its own, but what's really wild is its age. It was only set up in July of 2023. So we're not talking about some old institution built on centuries of tradition. Nope. This is being designed from scratch, right now, for the world we live in today.
Okay, so that begs the question, right? Why build a massive new university in today's world? Well, it all starts with a super clear and pretty ambitious vision.
And that brings us right to the heart of it, the big question. What's the core idea behind this place? What's their why?
All right, here's the answer, straight from them. Now, the key words to really latch onto here are transformative impact and continual innovation. This tells you right away their goal isn't just, handing out degrees. They want to actively change society by weaving new ideas into every single thing they do.
And a big vision like that needs a practical game plan. That's what you're seeing here. The vision, that's the what, the big, inspiring dream. And then there's the mission. That's the how, the specific steps they're going to take to actually get there.
And holding up that whole mission is a set of core values. Now, what's interesting here are things like collaboration and an entrepreneurial spirit. Right away, that tells you they're focused on, getting different fields to work together and having that startup kind of mindset. And it's all wrapped up in a commitment to things like sustainability and integrity, which is great to see.
Okay, so we've got the vision. Now let's dig into the nuts and bolts, the actual blueprint designed to make it all happen.
Because, it's one thing to have a fantastic idea, but it's a whole other thing to actually pull it off. So, what's the plan? How are they structuring this whole massive enterprise?
So this is their core strategy, what they call the GM University model. It's built on these 4 pillars that are all connected: academics, research, hands-on skills, and this thing called the GMU Idea Lab, which is all about innovation and entrepreneurship. And what's really crucial here is that these aren't separate departments that never talk to each other. They're designed to constantly feed into one another.
And this is the payoff. This shows what that whole integrated model is supposed to create. You bring in students, faculty, money, all that stuff, and on the other side, you get real, tangible results. We're not just talking about graduates, we're talking about research papers, patents, brand new businesses coming out of their incubator, and real development in the community. It's designed to be a complete ecosystem.
All right, so let's zoom in a bit on that first pillar we just saw, academics. Let's take a look at the university's core academic structure.
So the university is broken down into 7 main faculties, and they've got everything covered, from engineering and IT all the way to law and a dedicated business school. I mean, it's a really comprehensive lineup that shows just how ambitious they are, right from day one.
And speaking of ambition, get this. By 2026, they're expecting to have over 3,900 students enrolled in just their core engineering, IT, and computer application programs. That shows you they're not messing around. They're planning for major scale and a big impact really, really fast.
And what this shows is that even inside the more traditional academic departments, innovation is absolutely central. The Idea Lab isn't some side project. It's right there at the core, like an engine designed to turn what you learn in the classroom into real-world products and startups.
Okay, so we've seen the structure. Now let's talk about what the students will actually be learning and the kinds of skills they're trying to build.
So they basically see the student journey as these 4 clear steps. It starts with the basics, the foundational knowledge. Then it moves into teaching those really critical skills. We're talking creativity, communication, digital fluency. From there, it gets bigger. The focus shifts to developing them into global citizens who can go out and tackle actual, real-world problems.
And this quote right here, from their own objectives, really nails a key point. The goal isn't just to get students ready for jobs that already exist. No, it's to empower them to create jobs by really fostering that entrepreneurial spirit. It's about turning them into people who create opportunities, not just look for them.
All right, so this brings us to our final section, the end game. After all this planning, all this building, what is the impact that GM University really wants to have?
Because at the end of the day, the goal here isn't just education for education's sake. The degrees, the research, all these new buildings, they're all just tools for a much bigger goal, creating a real, lasting, and positive impact on the world around them.
And this brings us right back around to that outputs model we saw a little while ago. The success of GM University isn't going to be measured just by how many students they have. It's going to be measured by these outcomes,
The quality of the graduates they produce, the innovation that comes out of their labs, the businesses they help launch, and what they give back to the community. And their motto really just sums up the entire philosophy in 2 simple words: innovating minds. It just reinforces this idea that their goal isn't to just, fill people's heads with facts, but to literally transform their minds into engines of innovation. So, GM University is making a huge bet that this kind of integrated model is the future of higher education. And that leaves us with a pretty big question to think about, right? In a world that is changing so fast and desperately needs creative solutions, how might a brand new blueprint for education like this one actually shape the innovators of tomorrow?